welcome to Pots, Pans, and Pioneers. Today I'm going to be making my version of Spanish rice. So stay with us. Okay everyone, today I'm going to be making my version of Mexican or Spanish rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to add oil at the bottom of this pan. And I'm just doing enough oil to, cover the bottom of the pan. I'm not putting a lot of oil. The recipe is on potspansandpioneers.com. You can find the link in the description box. I'm going to add a cup of organic long grain white rice. I'm going to sprinkle some dehydrated peppers, celery in here. And if you want to learn how to do the dehydrating of the bell peppers, I have a video on that in my catalog. I'm sprinkling a little bit of cumin, sprinkling a little bit of garlic powder, I'm going to be using some kosher salt, and I'm just doing a teaspoon. And I just take a wooden spoon and I stir it until it's cooking on medium, until it's translucent. I learned this recipe from my former mother-in-law. She's deceased, but she taught me how to make Spanish rice, and it's sort of a funny story because when I first married her son, I made the version of Spanish rice that I had been taught, and my mother is from Louisiana, so they're Cajun, so they wouldn't know how to make Spanish rice, authentically. And so I got my knowledge from her, and when I made Spanish rice for when I first got married to her son, she immediately wanted to show me how to make Spanish rice, and I really valued her opinion because I knew mine was too sticky. It called for tomato sauce, and she had never heard of putting tomato sauce in Spanish rice, and so I knew that I had botched up a Spanish rice, for my new in-laws. And anyway, she grew up in New Mexico, and she told me I never knew how to make Mexican food. I had to learn it because I married a Garza, so she grew up in more of an American Indian culture, and so the foods were sort of close to each other. They did make a Navajo bread, and they did make Indian bread, so it was like a tortilla, so it was a real easy transition for her. So, and what you're going to do is you're going to cook this until it's, translucent. And once it gets to be translucent, we're going to add 2 cups of water, and we're going to turn this down and cook it for 20 minutes. The main and the most special ingredient, because we know that Spanish rice has a tomato base, is this. It's not, I don't believe, nor is an organic company, but I can make this tomato chicken bouillon from scratch. I can dehydrate the tomatoes, I can make the chicken broth, and I'm able to mix that in the tomatoes before dehydrating them. I'm able to make this, organically. But this is my go-to. It's what I've always done. It's what I've always cooked with. But I think there's only a little bit of it left because I go through a lot of this because we eat so much, Mexican rice because I make Mexican food all the time. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, so I'm gonna, do what I normally do, and that's just kind of gauge it. And when I pour the water, you're gonna hear it really sizzle. And your ratio for rice is always, for every 1 cup of rice, it's 2 cups of water. If you like sticky rice, then it's 2.5 cups of water. So now that we've added the water, we're going to kick this up to a boil. And then once it starts boiling, we're going to turn it down to a medium-low and cook it for 20 minutes. And if you can see this, it almost looks like, tomato soup, but it's really not. I've never ever tried my old recipe. In fact, I think I've forgotten how to do it with tomato sauce. I've never tried it again after learning this. And I was quite embarrassed, but the next time I made this, she was so happy and so proud of me for following her directions. She used a skillet too, and I've always used a stock pot just because my skillet is always full of, taco meat or chicken or whatever. Now, I'm going to be making a video on arroz con pollo, her version of arroz con pollo, but it's almost just exactly like this. It's really just your Spanish rice mixed with your, chicken, or you could add taco meat to it and have a quick supper. I mean, this, now that it's boiling, let me grab a lid. And then we're going to turn it down low, and we're going to set our timer for 20 minutes. But you could add, peas to this as well. I know some people like peas in their Spanish rice, so you could do a 1/2 cup of peas as well. So I'm going to let this cook for 20 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, everyone, our timer went off for the Spanish or Mexican rice, and it is steamy, fluffy, and it just smells so yummy. So it's too hot for me to try it, but I've made this 1,000 times. You'll just love this recipe, and I hope you'll try it. Thanks for joining us today at Pots, Pans, and Pioneers, and we look forward to hearing your comments after you make this recipe. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more recipes. Everybody have a wonderful Mother's Day.